Welcome, free Luigi. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Rob. This is the live stream. We do news commentary, newsmentary. And if you're new here, love for you to join the community. We're building and organizing a ginormous community, strength in numbers, power to the people. And here we just bring up news, have some commentary on it, enlighten people with discussions. I get enlightened through the comment section. Um, but most importantly, we discuss what's going on. Number one, free Luigi. Number two, Bill Burr is, I mean, it's hard to describe how much we should cherish and value Bill Burr. He is a national hero, and he is what many celebrities should be doing right now. But Bill Burr ain't your typical celebrity. He's a masshole. Hailing from Massachusetts, a comic who became a celebrity, got to Star Wars. But his roots, he's never left them. And we're going to talk about Bill Burr's podcast and what he's doing and how sensitive Elon, the Twitter guy, as he called him, is. We're going to talk about some Luigi news. He's hitting the headlines again. Love to see it. Love to see it. Free him. Free them all, innocent until proven guilty. I've seen an interesting theory about Luigi out there that, there was a lot of lawsuits and turmoil surrounding that United Healthcare CEO, Brian, who gives a shit what his name is, and that people are saying maybe it was an assassin that went after him, and they're framing Luigi, and the CIA has done worse. Powerful people have done worse. We're witnessing in real time. And listen, today is a tragedy. What the Republicans pushed through, I didn't put any links down below. All the links down below are to the North Korean crypto heist in the Luigi news. And one special link down there for all you Elmo fans, the Enron Musk fans. A link about how his wealth comes from our taxpayer money. But very briefly, I didn't even want to talk about it because it's very depressing. The Republicans are full mask off, gutting Medicaid, gutting these systems, these services the government has put in place for the most vulnerable in the society that we've created, and the wealthy people. Not just Republicans, because there's unelected leaders that are hailing this, but wealthy people have absolutely gutted or have voted to gut Medicaid and government services, healthcare. That thing that they like to say, there's so much fraud. And I'm like, yeah, a ton of people are trying to fraud the healthcare system. Or maybe they're just trying to get healthcare. And when you look into the fraud, like the Majority Report and Sam Cedar we're talking about, the fraud is usually on behalf of like hospitals, the corporate, the wealthy people who are the middlemen in this. They're the ones doing the fraud. They're the ones that are overcharging for things, charging for things that never happened. But while Republicans are doing all of that in the name of tax cuts for the wealthy, and you can look this up. I think I shared a post on it, but it's just absolutely disgusting. And if you believe in hell, there's a certain spot in hell for these people that are trying to give people who make over $1 million a $36,000 tax break, while the rest of our taxes, everybody under $1 million, are going to go up. And at the same time, taking people's health care away from them. So absolute tragedy of a day. I don't want to get too much into it because it's been a rough one for me. Good boy. How are you, bro? Your beard don't intimidate me, pal. And your name don't intimidate me, pal. Kid. You're not from Massachusetts, I know that, buddy. The unfortunate thing about this beard, hit subscribe and notification bell. Join me. I do a live stream every weekday. And we talk about news, and we have some commentary. But here's the tragic thing about this beard. The plug in my bathroom don't work. Well, first, the shaver, I just use a hair shaver to shave my beard, or to shave. And the hair shaver is like 20 years old. That's living on a budget. But the plug has gone out twice now, and the second time the plug went out. So guess what? I'm trimming it with scissors. I hate Trump. Gordak, oh, maybe I should put in a stipulation because I'm doing this live stream at a different time of day. Usually I do it earlier. But if you're a Trumper, an Elmo, bootlicker, if you're one of these people who like loves the CEOs, but hates your boss at work, this live stream ain't for you. You're not the one to subscribe. Go to, I don't know, what do you listen to? Tim Pool? Go to Joe Rogan. Go to Joe Rogan for your billionaire updates. If you want billionaires to tell you what to do, if you want CEOs to run your life in the government, this ain't the place for you. Move along, move along. But we're going to get into this news. Now, North Korea. I did not know this, but for years now, they have been pulling off crypto heists. They have been pulling off. North Korea is really investing into their hacker community, and I wish America would, take a note from them, take a page from the North Koreans. This is one way we could do it, and invest in our hacker community. Not decimate the government, but maybe have a whole, I don't know, is the NSA all hackers? I mean, I guess you'd have to disguise the name, and I think the NSA are hackers, but doesn't surprise me, it's North Korea. Well, apparently in all the research I was doing today, because there's news that North Korea pulled off over the weekend a $1.5 billion crypto heist. If you're into MyBit or BitMe or MyBite, I forget what it's called. Again, links are down below. If you invest any of your money into this app, you might want to check your cash, because North Korea, in a matter of minutes, somehow pulled off one of the greatest heists, crypto heists. I mean, better, they put the Logan brothers to shame. This wasn't even a rug pull. They just went straight for the loot. They weren't making it. There was no Kim Jong-un meme coin. They just said, we're going in, we're getting out. And apparently, well, so this weekend, I guess it's a Saudi company, or it's in Saudi. I don't know. It's somewhere in the Middle East. Again, links are down below. Bybit. Is that it? Thank you, Gordak. I think it's Bybit. Bite me. I want to start a Bitcoin app that's called Bite Me. And it's just, you just give me the money and I hold it for you. And you just got to trust me. Just like the Paul brothers say. Logan and, what's his name? Jacques Paul. Comparing Kim Jong-un to the Paul brothers is an insult to Kim Jong-un. You Vegas bud, you're totally right. I'm so sorry. No offense to Kim Jong, especially because he wasn't trying to start, what was that egg thing? The crypto zoo or whatever that Logan was trying to do. Like, Kim Jong-un wasn't trying to pull some crypto zoo. He was like, yo, straight up, we're just going in for the money. We're getting out in minutes. And this weekend they pulled off $1.5 billion robbery. And Bybit was like, oh, don't worry, we're one-to-one liquid, so anybody that got their cash taken, we could refund you. I'm like, right, sure. Check your money, folks, if you got it all tied up in a BitBite. I drink too much coffee and Hawaiian Punch. Oh, you remember Hawaiian Punch? They still actually make that. Hawaiian Punch was like a big deal. They used to have commercials. But North Korea, their hackers, $1.5 billion hacker heist this weekend. And I also put down, so use a cold wallet. That is actually what Bybit said they had. The cold wallet is offline, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Gordak? You're going to be so you should be my co-host in this one. For this news story. That's why I love people in the comments. Please hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could join me when I go live. Because what I believe the founder of the Bybit app said it was a cold wallet. And again, I put links to different YouTube news outlets that actually reported on the story, not just commentary. They gave you the facts. Again, I'm not reading anything. I'm going off my memory of reading and watching a bunch of stuff today. But they said this was a cold wallet that was offline, which I was like, yo, you don't want to admit that. Because if you're saying like this was an offline cold wallet that was supposed to be harder to crack, the fact that North Korea pulled it off is that much more impressive and that much more like horrific for any of your customers. Because if you can't protect the stuff that's online, what makes you think you're protecting the stuff that is online or offline and on? You get what I'm saying. But it's a good thing I'm too dumb to understand investing. I'm old school. I like cash. I'm like you, Vegas. Vegas Blood 702. I like you. Cash is king. Uh, Investing is about growing your money. Listen, this I wouldn't even call this new crypto stuff investing because the amount of meme coins and well, I mean, some of it is. Don't get me wrong, but these meme coins that are getting dropped, it's not investing. It's wealthy people going, look, we started a meme coin, get in on it. And then they pull the rug from under you, and people like reading people's tweets about the Hawk Tua coin that they were like, I invested my life savings. I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't have had a life savings if you thought the Hawk Tua meme coin was it. You know, like at that point, just burn your money in front of you. At least it would have kept you warm. Oh, Jesus, these people left out in the cold and dumb. But Vegas, bud, I'm kind of like you. I like cash. So anyways, North Korea pulls off this $1.5 billion heist. And I don't see it a lot in the American news, but then again, like the news outlets, I lost 500 in the Trump coin. You bought the Trump coin, by Jesus. Gordak, do you watch CoffeeZilla? He does all the Bitcoin, meme coin, any kind of crypto, anything. CoffeeZilla is on it. I highly recommend, before you invest in anything, just watch some CoffeeZilla because he's exposing a lot of these scams and these con artists. What really bugs me is like the people like the Paul brothers or what's that No Jumper dude? He's some kid from New Hampshire. He's a brat from New Hampshire. He's a punk. I hate him. I forget his name. But he just did a meme coin too that CoffeeZilla talked about. I don't understand why people like these folks. Just like Joe Rogan. He's just a kid from Massachusetts who's a bully, who pretends to play dumb, but really his ego's driving him that whatever he says should be the authority. But he's just playing the common man. Really, he wouldn't be your friend, all right? He would be a dick to you. You'd hate him if you grew up with him. But what really bugs me about these meme coins, like the Hawk Tua one, is they're like preying on people, their audience. Like here, I'm building a community. So I've always said, like, if you see me selling something, it's going to be toothpicks, tea tree toothpicks. I'm not going to sell you a plot of land in Scotland to call yourself a lord, like a lord. Like when I worked in radio for 20 years. I did that. I sold anything to anybody because I needed the money. And then at some point I was like, no, I need to value my reputation. And the people that are using the things that I promote are trusting me. And maybe that's maturity, maybe that's compassion, selflessness, whatever it is, but it really bugs me to watch these people prey on their own audience. You know, it's like that's the worst kind of human. Like the people that you're like, thank you for listening, thank you for spending your time with me. Let me rob you. You know, that's the Hawk Tua. That's the Trump meme coin. That's like these people are willing to rob their own fans. And that is the Logan brothers, the Paul brothers, whatever their names are. I don't give a whatever. Pa really saved me today. Wait, there's a Hawk Tua coin? There was a Hawk Tua coin until everybody got their money taken from them and she had to apologize on a podcast and say CoffeeZilla is scary because he exposes people like me of frauds. But North Korea, man, I'm surprised. I wish I don't know, maybe the nightly news will cover this, but I'm just glad Dogecoin was a thing before Doge Department was created. People freak out. The name is mentioned. I enjoy the chaos. I'll sit back and watch my popcorn. Well, listen, I don't enjoy the chaos only because what he's doing, remember this, again, I worked in radio. I lived through many, many layoffs. America has a layoff season now. And when you think about layoffs, these are people with families, with jobs, with lives. And when you think about the economy, laying off that many people, it's just not good, you know, in general, especially when you go off of some dude who doesn't even know how to run his own companies. Again, without the billions of dollars from taxpayers like us to fund his companies, he'd be nowhere. And he's a moron. That's the bigger thing. He's just a moron. And he puts it on full display on Twitter. So that's the thing that bugs me. I can't sit back quietly, you know, especially when it's people's healthcare that that they're tinkering with now. But yeah, there was a Hawk Tua coin. There was. And North Korea just went in. It's amazing because in Massachusetts, if you don't know, you can look up Charlestown, or if you've ever seen that Ben Affleck movie, The Town. Charlestown was known for like, you know, bank heists and armored truck robberies. And I guess North Korea is like the Charlestown of the world, which I don't know. Good for them. The only scary part is apparently when I was researching this, you know, there were in 2001, whatever it was, the feds or whoever was charging North Korea with, stealing $1 billion and funding their arms race with it. So I didn't know they were using it for weapons. Of course, they're not using it for food or to help their people, which sucks. But they're using it to, buy illegal arms and build rockets and missiles. So, you want to cheer that they're pulling off these heists, and they obviously got some brilliant minds over in North Korea if they're able to hack these bit wallets and bitcoins and MyBat and bytes. But what they're using it for, a little suspect. Now, what's up, Bandito? Did you talk about Javier Milei and his rug pull? No, I didn't even mention that. I can't even get into that. You sure it was North Koreans? Listen, that's what I have 2 different news sources on YouTube that are citing it and 1 article. And from everything I've read, that's what they're saying. You only wish that Kim Jong-un, when he comes out and he publicly displays his missile launches and they film it, I wish he would do that with the Bitcoin heist. Like, just show the after effects and them all cheering, sitting in a digital, he could put digital currency around them, like those TikTok videos, and just have it all CGI on the screen. No, but Bandito, you know what we're going to talk about? Nancy Parker. So North Korea, huge crypto heist. Good for you, North Korea, but use it for good, all right? Give you people some food. Free Luigi Mangione. There are, if you saw my thumbnail, there are some reports, rumors, allegeds going around saying that when the police detained him illegally for 17 minutes in Altoona, Pennsylvania at McDonald's, they didn't read him his rights. And if you know anything about, I don't know, the Constitution, your rights, your Miranda rights, how to deal with law enforcement, which I've talked about this on other podcasts, and I think I've shared it if you follow me on on any of my socials. They should steal from Gordak. I'm going to pause the Free Luigi talk because Gordak, I've been saying this forever. If you're new here, hit subscribe and notification bell. Join the community. I love when people are up in the chat. I'm seeing CJ, Bandito, some of the families here. We got a big family, big community. Together we're stronger. But Gordak, I've been saying that forever. That I'll only wish these hackers, when you hear about this, like instead of stealing from an app in the Middle East, Bybit or BitBuy or whatever you said it was, instead of stealing from that, go after the real enemy, BlackRock. Empty out their investment accounts, because they own a piece of everything. If you don't follow Cancel This Clothing Company on TikTok, you should. He's also here on Twitter. Bybit, thank you. I'm like, bite my back. BitBuys, Coinbytes. The same snipers were involved in Smolania's rug pull. Yeah, I seen who was talking about that. I think it was CoffeeZilla. Was he going into all that stuff? Luigi needs to walk. Yeah. But I've been saying forever, we need a team of hackers to take down, like why aren't they emptying out Jeff Bezos's compensation packages or going after the BlackRock investment deals or whatever crypto they're invested in crypto. Like, I only wish that they would go for them. So I'm pleading with the hacker community. Angelina Jolie, Crash and Burn, that movie from the 90s, the guy who eventually played Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. Come on, hackers. If you haven't seen that movie, that's a great 90s movie. Systems are too strong. Yeah, the white cap hackers, correct. White and black hat. And there's gray hats, right? There was an interesting whole documentary here on YouTube about hacking that I just can't get enough of. I wish my mind worked like that because it's brilliant. Let's see what bro's yapping about today. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Here he comes, Anonymous. Anonymous, are you a fan of the snitch, Nancy Parker, who snitched on Luigi, the McDonald's worker in Altoona? Are you a fan of hers? Because her family's even defending her. I don't know if you've seen the statement. Some of her family on social media is like, I'm sick of people threatening my Aunt Nancy or whatever it is, saying she did the right thing, turning him in. It's like, no, she didn't. She did the wrong thing. Just because he looks like some picture the police put out don't mean he's guilty of anything. Innocent until proven guilty. And you know what? Turns out that karma's coming back to Nancy because snitches get no riches. And Nancy called it in to 911 because she thought she was going to get 10,000 from the cops and 50,000 from the feds. And it turns out she didn't call the tip line. She called 911. So the police showed up. You got to call the tip line to get the tip money, moron. Oh, but listen, if I was her family, I wouldn't defend her. I'd be like, fuck, man, I ain't inviting her to Thanksgiving. We're never going to her house again. You know, like, you don't have to defend someone because they're family. I get it. A lot of people do. But, you know, sometimes your family's just wrong. And Nancy Parker, if your family's listening, you can say she was wrong. She should have never turned him in. Luigi's a hero, and he did nothing. Yeah, man, no reward. So she's struggling to understand. And I'm like, bitch, did nobody teach you nothing? She's old enough. She's of the generation where the police propaganda was strong. You know, I was raised in the dare era and just say no. And we saw through that facade real quick. But once you have a couple of experiences with the police where you're like, oh, they ain't here to protect me. They're here to try to accuse me of something that I might not have even done. They have a story, a narrative, then they got to fill in all the pieces, and they don't care who you are, but they just want to fit you into that puzzle. But I'm like, man, this broad is old enough to still think like, oh, well, I'm a white lady that, of course, the police are here. I'm like, just be in the wrong place, wrong time. And you'll learn real quick that the police ain't there to protect you. The police look at everybody as a suspect. And that's partially what's wrong with policing of society today. We can't even get into that. But the snitch ain't getting nothing. That's right. Home devices and selling their bandwidth as residential IPS. Like, yes, but I didn't hurt those people, even though I could. Well, listen, this is my biggest problem with, you know, if you're in the hacking community. Like, we need hackers. Right now, the hackers could run the world, and we need them to do good. You know, we need them to not go after. I always struggle when they go after individual people. It's just like if you've gotten scam phone calls or scam texts or scam emails or any of that. I'm like, man, it sucks that they're going after people individually. And I get it, because older people will fall for it, or some people are more vulnerable to it. But it's like, why? It's just like taxing people. It's like, why are you going to try to tax 1 billion poor people to get what you could if you just taxed Elon Musk? If we just made him pay taxes, we wouldn't have to tax all the working people so hard. It's only mathematically sound. You know what I mean? It's only like math. It's just numbers. This is very simple. Like, instead of having to raise taxes on everyone, we just make rich people pay their fair share, pay their share of taxes, and not hide it all in Panama. And that's always been my issue. I'm like, hackers, scam artists, stop going after these small fish. Do the North Korea thing. You know, go for one big heist. Just go for it all at once. You could get it all. Somebody send Jeff Bezos an email saying you're a Nigerian prince and you got a lot of money that you got to get out of Nigeria, but you just need him to front some cash first. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll go live every weekday, and I'll bring you news commentary. Sometimes the commentary is funny. Sometimes I enjoy the commentary. I know a lot of people don't. Or maybe a lot of people do. I actually can't hear you. I only see what you write. So anyways, yeah. So 2 things on Luigi. Nancy Parker, Altoona, PA. Oh, man. I can't understand why her family feels like they need to stand up for her. And I love how in the stuff I read, they were like, she did the right thing in turning in that criminal, or whatever they called him. And I'm like, do you believe in America? Do you believe innocent till proven guilty? Because you know, already making this dude guilty of the crime ain't very American, ain't very constitutional. He needs a speedy trial. And also, the police and their procedure. That's the funny thing about cops. It's like, you got a simple procedure when you need to detain or question someone. All you got to do is read the Miranda rights. Like, you got one job. And how many court cases have been knocked out because they didn't do their one job? And apparently, again, allegedly, this is what I'm seeing, and you can read it for yourself. Apparently, they didn't do that. And they kind of came in there, and there were a lot of them, meaning he was not free to go, but they never said, hey, you're being detained, here's your rights, you know. And hopefully that's enough to get him off. But the whole injustice system is very corrupt, and it's very weighted. And I mean, they put terrorism charges on him, which is just nuts, because the people all cheered. You know, we collectively were like, he's a hero. but he's innocent. But he's still, if that's the guy you're looking at, he's our hero. So you can't have, terrorism charges means you're trying to terrorize masses of people. You're trying to influence society. And as far as I know, corporate CEOs are a very small minority. And they're not a protected minority. Is that where the government's going with this one? How about the only one Republican voting against taking away Medicare? I can't even, CJ, I mentioned this earlier. It's so devastating to watch wealthy people who get taxpayer funded healthcare take it away from the most vulnerable people. And Bandito will probably attest to this. Majority Report, Sam Cedar did a great job explaining this, because you're going to hear Elon and all these bobbleheads talking about fraud. We got to get rid of the fraud. But the fraud isn't done by the people on Medicare. It's done by the institutions, the middlemen taking care of them. It's done by the nursing homes, the hospitals. I don't know if sometimes it's even the doctors, the insurance companies that are overcharging the government for things that clearly are fraudulent. And it's not people like pretending that they need to get on Medicaid. Like, the people that are on it just need it. And it's these middlemen. It's how the system is set up that's fraudulent, because we should just be able to get health care through our taxes, being paid for by our taxes. And it's just incredible, and I highly recommend Sam Cedar and the Majority Report did a much better job than I'm going to do right now. But exactly. I call them United Health Insurance. I refuse to, or sometimes I call it care, but I try to use my language specifically with the intent of letting people know there is no health care. It is insurance. United Health middlemen, they are the terrorists. They're protected under Trump and Doge and the Supreme Court. It's red carpet communism. Man, I only wish it was communism. A stateless, classless, moneyless society. It sounds like heaven, is what Jesus described. It's more like oligarchy. Godrat, can you summarize the Medicare in America? You can't even go to the emergency without paying. Can't even go to emergency without paying. Well, so Medicare is different from Medicaid. And again, one is basically, I don't want to say universal health care, but it's like a government state provided health insurance. The other one helps pay for the private insurance. But healthcare in America is just totally messed up. The way I explain it to people, how our insurance system is set up, not healthcare, but how our health insurance system is set up. And I explain it to younger kids, because a lot of kids can stay on their parents' healthcare until they're 26. And a lot of kids it doesn't register because they're healthy. They don't have to utilize it. So the way I explain it is, imagine this is how the healthcare system in America is set up. Imagine you join a gym. You say, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be healthy. I've joined a gym. I pay $10 a month but let's say 100, because it's never $10 a month. But let's say you join a gym. You're paying $100 a month to be a member of the gym. Okay. That's like the insurance in America. I have to work to become a member of the insurance company, which they take 80% of my paycheck. And these are real numbers, I'm telling you, and I can back it up I show everybody at work. I take screenshots of my pay, because after they take out their money for insurance, I make $4 an hour. My $16 an hour goes down to $4, because the health insurance industry has to take their cut, which and we're going to get into it. So the insurance company is like joining a gym where you pay $100 a month. But then you go, okay, I'm a member of the gym. I want to go into the gym. So you walk into the gym and you scan your little thing and they say, okay, you're a member. Come on in. And you go over to the treadmill and you go, I'm going to use the treadmill. And they go, there's a $50 copay for that. And you go, what? And they go, yeah, if you want to get on the treadmill, you need to pay $50 to use that. And you go, but I pay $100 to be a member. And they go, yeah, that's just to be a member. That's just to say that you have the card that you are a member here. That's how you prove you're a member. You're by paying us. And they go, so if you want to use the treadmill, that's another $50. We'll call that a copay. And you go, okay, never mind. I'm going to go do some bench press. And they go, well, you're going to need doctor's authorization to prove that you need to use the bench press. So you have to wait a few days and it comes back denied. And then you have to fight it. And then the doctor says, yes, you can use the bench press. That would be good for your health. So you go, I got my doctor's authorization. I want to come and use the bench press. And they go, well, that's a $30 copay. And you go, but I'm a member here. I already pay. Why do I have to pay to utilize this? And that is how health insurance is set up here. So, and that's what we do. And that's why when I was sick the other week and I could only work 2 days because I had the flu, my paycheck was $5.50 for the week. I worked 13 hours and made $5.50. The other 200 and something dollars I made went to the health insurance. And I couldn't even afford to go to the doctor because my copay is $50. So these health insurance middlemen are the terrorists, not Luigi. And it is horrible. It's horrific. And if you need to, I'm all for free ambulances. If you need to go to, there are people that die in America because they refuse to take an ambulance because an ambulance ride can be between $5,000 to $10,000 depending on what it is. And it's just, it's robbery. It's not even highway robbery. It's point blank robbery. It is a heist. There's no need for these middlemen. There are no need for these insurance companies. That's all they are, is middlemen. They decide whether or not you should have the life-saving care that you need, that we as a society have worked for a millennia to develop the technology advancements and intelligence to utilize. And we have these middlemen that stand in the way that say, no, you don't really need that. It's horrific. Uber ambulance. Yeah, that's basically what we're at. We should just have free ambulances. Oh, so anyways, that's what it's like. I like to break that down because people need to understand, and the better they understand, the more they can go, that is horrific. Nobody should have to deal with that when you're dealing with kids needing a wheelchair, people with cancer, life's insulin, whatever it is. God, it's so frustrating. So anyways, so Luigi, there are a lot of stories out there about how Luigi was illegally detained, and his lawyers out there saying that, and I put links down below so you can keep up with all the Luigi news, because remember, he may be accused of something, but this can happen to anybody, and it does happen to a lot of people. He's just a high profile story. And the cops can't do illegal stuff because they think you did something. They still have to follow the law. It's always amazing to me the people meant to enforce the law when they break it. But again, we're in America, and the only thing that speaks is money. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Nancy Parker, the snitch from Altoona, PA, who works at McDonald's. How do you go into work the next day when people are like, oh, gross? I would never go to that McDonald's again. Never. And I would tell my kids every time we drive by, we're like, there's the place where snitches work, and we will not be spending our money there. So Nancy ain't getting her, and I'm not even going to say, well, if you're going to make sure you call the tip line to get don't snitch. Don't talk to the cops. Don't do it. But she's finding out the hard way because she thought she was in for 10,000 and then another 50,000, and she called 911, and that's not how you get the money, sweetheart. Show off your stupidity to us. Flaunt your stupidity. Call in to snitch to get some cash, and you didn't even do it the right way, so you get no cash. Hilarious. And I got articles down for that. Gordak, I'm totally against private companies in healthcare and education. These are basic rights. Amen to that. Hear, hear. I like to cut your jib, Gordak. CJ, CJ talking like a fucking pirate in the 1800s. I love it. My goodness, CJ. Love you. All right, guys. So that's it for right now. I wanted to bring you that Luigi news. I wanted to bring you the new Charlestown was notorious in Massachusetts in the 90s for armored truck robberies and bank robberies. And it was handed down. There was folklore in Massachusetts about it. That's why Ben Affleck did that movie, The Town. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's pretty good. Because there was folklore around how good these robbers, these people were, which you got to cheer them on, stealing from banks. What's wrong with that? They steal from me every fucking month with their fees and overdrafts. They're robbing the poor to feed the rich. But made you laugh. You did win. I don't know what jib is, but it's hilarious. I'm guessing it's old sailor's term. I like to cut your jib. I don't know what I'm always fascinated to find out where terms come from, and I'll look that up later. And I'll be back tomorrow, so please hit subscribe, and then after hit that notification bell, especially you, Gordak. I don't know what your country you're in, but let me know, because we got people from Egypt. Now I'm blanking. The other day it was Sweden, Norway, France. I'm trying to think. A lot of folks from India. Shout out to all my homies in India. All over the world. So I love it. Istanbul. Oh, damn. You ever seen all those hot air balloons go off? What are the caves by the hot air balloons? I forget what those caves are, but those ancient caves. I want to go and check that out. I want to go check that out. What's up, Jackie Toucans? How you doing, guy? You're from Massachusetts. I think we see Cappadocia. That's right. Hot air balloons, which terrify me. Never want to go in a hot air balloon. Last thing I want to do in my life is go in a hot air balloon. They don't know how to get it back down. And you're just like, I guess we just float until we can't breathe. So I don't understand how that's a big thing that people like to do. But the caves there, I'd love to go see that. And if you've never seen Cappadocia, check it out on YouTube. Some great videos. YouTubers go there, and it's really fascinating. Fascinating. Ancient stuff, man. I'm always into that. Istanbul sounds awesome. Yeah, I want to try some Turkish coffee too. Good point. Point set match, Bandito. So please, Gordak, I would love it if you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. A lot of interesting things I'd like to ask you about. But until then, stay up to date on your news. Check your Bybit. Is that what it's called? Bybit. If you're using the Bybit app for your cryptocurrency, North Korea just pulled off a $1.5 billion heist this weekend. So make sure your money's still there. If not, it's probably funding Kim Jong-un's cheese fetish or whatever it is. And thank you for hitting subscribe. Hey, and to all the new subscribers, thank you so much. It means the world to me. I love the community we're building here. We might not all agree or have the same perspective, but that's what makes us stronger. All right? We don't all have to agree on everything, but as long as we all have the same, vision for the future, we want a better future for the kids. We don't want to fucking live on Mars. Have you ever seen that, the Red Rock? I don't want to live there. I want to save Cappadocia. I want to see an orca in real life. I want to save the ravens, the wolves. I want to save the national parks. I want to see more of this beautiful earth we already have, and I want this place to be better for our children. If you believe that, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will see you tomorrow, and always, free Luigi. CJ, Bandito, always good to see you. Love you. Peace.